Hi guys and welcome back to Chengi's World. I'm so glad to have you guys back with me today. If you are new to this channel, make sure you subscribe, press that subscribe button, and don't forget the little bell so you're notified every single time I upload a video. And I will see you guys again on Instagram, Chengi's World, Facebook, Chengi's World, and Twitter, Chengi Pod. Okie dokie guys, so here we are today. I had a request from one of you guys, and I love catching up with you on my social media and the messages that you guys sent me. And the video request was from my friend Katie. I have spoken about her I think a little bit on this video, and she's really been an inspiration for quite a few videos because she'll always ask me a question that makes me think, I think I need to do a video on that. And she asked me to make a video on the guys to avoid dating. And the reason why she asked me to make that video is because she was dating a guy who basically doesn't get on with his mom. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, yes, absolutely. I want to make that video because I've been meaning to, and I've got a whole list of stuff. But I think sometimes it's about timing and what needs to go out at the time that it needs to go out. So thank you so much, Katie, for that suggestion. And yes, I'm going to start off by talking about the subject of men who hate their moms. Now, I know Steve Harvey mentioned that in one of his books, that I love me some Steve Harvey. Hello. Because he's just a straight talker, and I happen to respect and love people who just say what's on their mind and say the truth, right? So I wanted to talk about this idea of dating a guy who hates his mom. Now, I totally have a no dating a guy who hates mama policy. And I was saying that to one of my colleagues the other day, and we're in the kitchen, and I was saying, look, I advise that no woman date a man who has, who simply cannot stand his mom. And the girls were like, yes. And they were like, why would you say that, Chengi? And I was like, look, if you cannot, our first reference of maleness and femaleness is our mother and our father. They give us the blueprint for who men are and who women are. Okay, so they outline for us what our expectations are, what we should expect, and what is right and what is wrong. And basically, furthermore, they are our protectors. They're the ones that love us, the ones that, even if they did a crappy job of raising us, and I would say 100% of parents do a crappy job of raising their kids in one way, shape, or form. Okay, but let's say as I was saying that, I was saying, look, if you can't love in general the person who fed you, who gave you life, and who made sure that you got to adulthood, if you can't love that and respect that woman, then ultimately you're going to have issues with your vision or understanding of women. That is not to say that they're not exceptions to the rule, and I've always said the exceptions to the rule, but you need to understand those exceptions, and we can talk about that later. What is the exception? What is the time when a guy's past is so broken and he has a bad relationship with his mom that I can therefore excuse that and sort of work with that? You can work with that when there's healing, when he can speak of his past and speak of what happened, but still speak well of her and say, I understand why she did it. She was broken. That's a person that's healed. I dated a guy once who just called his mom an absolute bitch. She's a bitch because his dad used to abuse him, beat him up to smithereens, and he must have been the tiniest little boy, and he was abused by his father, and obviously his father would abuse his mother as well. And I think for survival, she would keep her mouth shut, because if she tried to defend him, she would probably get beat down, and it was just a traumatic, horrible situation that he was brought up in. But he never forgave his mom for constantly not saying anything or not running away with him. And as far as he was concerned, she was such a bitch. And I thought, the way he treated me was so good. He was such a gentleman, and everything just seemed to be right between us. It seemed as though, but he would always be like, oh, she's a bitch. And it wasn't long before I did something unaware completely that just brought out the monster. And in that moment, I realized that he said things to me and did things, and and his whole behavior and his whole demeanor, the resentment that came towards me over the smallest thing that I didn't even know that I'd done was so huge that I realized that he's not reacting to me. He's not reacting to this situation. He is bringing the full weight of his past. This is what women do. This is what women do. Because the first woman that I met, did this to me. And every other woman has done that to him. And I realized that even when he was talking badly about his ex. And that's another person that you need to avoid dating. Number 2, don't date a person who doesn't speak well of their ex. Look, I know it's easier to just figure out, okay, he's with me now because the last girl was an absolute witch, right? She was terrible, it was horrible. So that's why he's with me, because I'm an angel. Baby girl, you don't know the half. You don't really know what happened. And I can tell you it takes 2 to tango. If a relationship breaks up, believe me, it takes 2 to tango. There is something that he will never tell you that he was doing to her that caused that reaction, even if she was a witch. Yes, there's some terrible people out there, but nobody is a full-on 100% victim. The things that you will never know about what she did. I know women that are like, oh, his ex-wife is such a bitch. And you don't know that. Chances are, if you sat with her and you had a cup of tea and a coffee and you actually became a best friend, you'd be like, thank you for that information. I'm going to run now. And you would know that those traits that you're seeing in small little doses, they're huge. So somebody that constantly, I've sat with guys who will speak about their ex and say, look, I loved her, she's a good woman, or she was going through this or whatever. And they've got a balanced view of the ex, and there's no malice, there's no hatred, there's no bickering. They've come to that point where they're friends, they talk because they have made amends. That's the guy that you want to spend time with. If you sit and you're going on a date and a guy is just going on about his exes, how they're mean, how they're awful, what they did to him, that guy is a guy you need to avoid, okay? So one who hates his mama, you need to avoid that guy. One who hates his ex, you need to avoid that guy. Like I said, if they're speaking well of their exes, then you know that they're open-minded, they're reflective people, and that you will reap the benefit of it. The other person that you need to absolutely avoid dating is a mean guy. Now, when I'm talking about mean, I'm talking about a guy that doesn't want to spend his money. I remember, and I know, like, when guys watch this, like, okay, I don't care, right? When you date, I can't date somebody who is not generous. And I'm not just talking about generous to me, I'm talking about generous to other people. I love a generous spirit because I am a generous spirit. So people that don't want to mean-spirited guys, they're the guys that are going to use you. Those are the guys that want you for the wrong reasons, and they will never give you, because it's not just about money, it's about generosity. And the one thing that you can easily tell from the beginning, before we get to the other bit of generosity, what you can tell from the beginning is if a man is going to be mean with his money, chances are he's not a generous soul, because a man's money is a representation of his strength. And if he's not prepared to part with it and I'm not talking about shopping sprees. I'm not talking about this, look after me, I'm high maintenance, put shoes on me, do whatever I want, give me money to just enjoy myself. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, when you go on a date and it seems like it's killing him to go into his pocket and pay, like, whatever, okay? You need to keep it moving, okay? We don't do that because we're high value girls, right? We keep that moving. The next one is an oversharer, okay? Oh, this is what happened to me and my dog and my cat, and he feels sorry for himself, a self-pity guy, he's always feeling sorry for himself because this happened to him and that. And the moment you meet, all he's talking about our life's traumas. That guy is a self-pity, feel sorry for myself guy who will drain your energy because he's got nothing to offer, okay? We don't date guys who overshare, tell us their life's traumas in the first meeting, in the second meeting, in the third meeting. A good balanced guy will always share as the relationship grows, as a good high-value woman will share as the relationship grows. You don't go sharing everything, because when people who overshare are still dealing with that brokenness and that hurtness that we discussed earlier, that we're not joining that crazy train, okay? And then the next thing is a guy with a roving eye, boo. Like, I call it a winking spirit. I'm like, if I am with you and your attention is divided and you're checking out that latest, okay, next, okay? Because if he's already showing you that he can't keep his focus on one woman, he's already showing you how it's going to be, okay? Gotta keep that moving. Now that I've heard a lot of like dating mama's boys, dating a mama's boy is not always a good thing. And by that, we really need to define what that means. That means is that if his mom matters more than you, if what he needs to do for mommy, if you get the impression that there are things that are immovable, that just are set in stone, that mom dictates the relationship, who and what and whatever, and that mom is not an open person, that mom has to so approve of you, otherwise she can't, you know, like if you've got to make mommy straight away, if mommy's opinion is the only thing that matters, then you got to keep that moving, because you will always come second to mama. Ain't nobody wants that kind of party, okay? You want to, you know, I want my son to meet a good, lovely, beautiful woman, but I don't need to be the one that calls the shots in his relationship, okay? I'm happy for him to introduce me eventually when he gets to know, because he knows what I require, and he knows the woman that I am, and he will only ever truly be attracted to a woman who's like his mom anyway, in terms of my nature, my character. So I trust him, and I would honor his choice unless I actually felt she was Jezebel, in which case I would give my opinion. But there's a difference between a woman who will constantly compete for attention with you, and you will easily be able to pick that up straight away when you're in their company. I would avoid guys that cancel dates, right? Look, if a guy is consistently canceling dates on you, he's just not that into you. Avoid a guy that has ghosted you. Like, just have a quick move on list. And this is the reason why you must learn to move on quickly. I keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it and keep saying it and saying it. When you see something you don't like, keep it moving, because if you stick around long enough, you will get emotionally involved. Why? Because we're emotional creatures. You will get emotionally involved, and then what happens is you'll be in a situation where now you're no longer in control, right? And now the situation is driving you. When you see a trait that you don't want, now I've done a video on my 5 non-negotiables. I suggest that you watch that, because on there, you know, I talk about certain things that I will not take. Another guy that you should never date is an addict, okay? We don't date addicts, end of, period. So if you want to see my 5 non-negotiables, because I really believe that you need to have your 5 non-negotiables, make sure you watch that video, my 5 non-negotiables, and begin to put together your non-negotiables, but also bearing in mind these kind of guys to avoid. You want to avoid these sort of personalities. You want to see it and you want to run. You want to see it and you want to run. You want to see it and you want to run. Why? Because every guy you waste time with is like blocking the sun from the guy that you really are going to meet. I truly believe that the guy that I am going to meet, the guy that I'm going to marry, the person that I am meant to be with, is right behind all the ones that I'm not supposed to be with. And the more time I'm spending with this one, the more I'm postponing that one. So you want to have, you know, I always say I date with my high heels on, but my trainer's around my neck, because I need to be able to switch shoes and keep on moving, okay? So these are my few, and I'm sure there are more. And if you have other suggestions or some things that I've missed out on that you're like, yo, okay, girl, you know, you forgot to mention this one, you got to put that in the comment section, guys, because I want to hear from you guys, because absolutely we need to share and share what's the guy that you absolutely would not date, that you must totally run away from, that you must avoid dating. Come on, girls, talk to me. Okay, and that goes for you guys as well. Tell me the kind of women that you totally like. No, okay, I ain't about that life. So I'll see you guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Chengi Pod, Chengi's World on Instagram and Twitter. And I look forward to your strawberry letters, guys. Keep sending me your letters. Keep sending me your stories about your relationship, asking me for advice, and I will share it on this channel so that everybody else can benefit. Love you lots. Take care of yourself, and don't forget to subscribe. Love you lots. Mwah. Bye bye now.